what of Meghan Markle? In a stunning turn of events, it was revealed that she is utterly unwanted. The cast declared, "I don't want Meghan Markle on our show. I think Kate would be wonderful." In a bombshell announcement today, the Real Housewives of London have not only delivered a scathing rejection to Meghan Markle but have openly declared their desire for Katherine, the Princess of Wales, to join their ranks. This marks yet another profound humiliation for the self-styled Duchess, whose star power plummets with each passing day. Yet, the rejection doesn't stand alone. Anna Wintour, the formidable editor of Vogue, or rather, the former editor who now commands all publications at Condé Nast, has also seemingly turned against Meghan, championing Katherine instead, a shocking twist for those who believed her loyalty was swaying after that notorious Balenciaga fashion meeting. The full story unfolds today, but first, one must witness that deeply mortifying moment. It was a moment when even the Real Housewives of London, with what some might call perfect accuracy, asserted their own superiority over the Montecito Duchess. The question was posed: which celebrity would make a great housewife if anyone could be chosen? It was clarified that this celebrity could not be a housewife from another franchise, but a true celebrity. Amid the suggestions, one name came up: Jennifer Aniston. Another proposed Victoria Beckham, but the resemblance was too uncanny to ignore, a point of jest among them. It was noted that a striking similarity already existed. They remarked on everything, from her voice to her very essence. One cast member even boasted of a video where the other declared her more attractive, a piece of evidence she claimed to have saved as proof. The suggestion of Jennifer Aniston was praised, citing her reputation as a true friend to other women. A debate arose. She isn't a housewife, is she? When the prerequisite of being married was confirmed, a voice audaciously suggested Meghan Markle. The reaction was swift and brutal. A chorus of no echoed, with one woman firmly stating, "I don't want Meghan Markle on our show now." Instead, a consensus formed. "I think Kate would be wonderful." There was a soft spot for the princess, a belief that she would truly surprise everyone. They called her tough as nails, an elegant woman with a magnificent home. The question hung in the air, playfully asked, had any of them received an invitation to visit her yet? The door, they joked, was always open. It was a fascinating spectacle, was it not? The chilling silence that fell upon the room at the mere mention of Meghan Markle's name. Then there was Anna Wintour, artfully casting shade upon Meghan by pointedly endorsing Katherine's impeccable style. She was asked which celebrity could serve as holiday-style inspiration. Her answer was a masterclass in subtlety. She declared that one could never go wrong with the Duchess of Cambridge, who consistently appears flawless. In an era drawn to stars with a more classic and heritage sensibility, she pointed to what Katherine wears to church, perhaps a Catherine Walker dark red princess coat, or to an evening out with her husband, where she might don something more glamorous, like a McQueen. But always, she concluded, Katherine looks absolutely impeccable. Angela Levin, one must ask, isn't it utterly fascinating to witness, in real time, how celebrities and socialites on both sides of the Atlantic are fleeing from Meghan Markle? And to add insult to injury, Angela, the salt in the wound is that they are not merely running from Meghan Markle. They are sprinting towards Katherine, the Princess of Wales, pleading, "Please embrace us." This phenomenon extends to the world's biggest celebrities, including Taylor Swift and Lady Gaga. The implications are damning, Angela. But when it's the Real Housewives of London delivering the verdict, you know the situation is dire. It is believed that Meghan has cultivated an unpleasant persona, causing widespread dislike. Many now perceive her as being solely interested in herself. No matter the topic of discussion, it invariably becomes a monologue about me, me, me. A narrative of moaning and groaning emerges, a tale of a poor victim who hasn't received everything she desires despite her supposed efforts. She has conducted herself in a manner that makes one want to retreat to another room. Katherine, in stark contrast, is described as charming. She kneels to speak to children and introduces herself by her first name, eschewing royal titles. Meghan, however, reportedly dislikes this approach. She insists on remaining the Duchess of Sussex, a title that seems to mean nothing as she performs no duties associated with it. The title is merely a tool to make her feel grand, and the public sees through it. She displays no genuine interest in other people. Katherine, on the other hand, is said to be deeply invested. When she visits a family that has endured the terrible loss of a child, she returns to see them many, many times. Driven by a desire to care and to help, her actions are said to stem from a truly warm heart. Meghan, it is alleged, operates from a different place, constantly calculating, how much will I gain here? How long must I stay before I can leave while making people think I've done a good job? The difference is stark. She is reportedly uninterested in anyone else, never allowing them to speak, for she believes everyone is desperate to know her. And frankly, many are not. Simultaneously in the United States, Angela, a disturbing trend, is finally gaining mainstream attention, something discussed in these circles for a long time. This week, it has gone viral. The unhinged, and indeed, quite crazy, psychologically disturbing obsession with cosplaying as Princess Diana. That observation, Angela, is made with complete confidence. Much of this exposure came from the brilliant Remillard source. They posted a chilling message on X. As promised, 2025 was a bountiful year for pretending to be Harry's mom. I am sure there will be another update sooner rather than later. This is not normal behavior. The evidence presented was vast and damning. This revelation is now spreading far and wide through the culture, so much so that even Michael Knowles of the Daily Wire, who rarely touches upon royal affairs, simply stated, "I'm shook. The situation has become undeniably creepy." What is particularly fascinating is that Jack Royston of Newsweek, the royal editor who once acted as a propagandist for Meghan Markle, is now publicly calling out this obsession. In a stunning admission, it was revealed that half of the viewers are not subscribed to Dan Wootton Outspoken, and that the greatest support one can offer is to hit the subscribe button, a completely free action, and to activate the notification bell. But among the detractors of Harry and Meghan, there is a strong sentiment that they have overused and over-leveraged the memory of Diana. It was noted that William did speak extensively about Diana back in 2017, for the 20th anniversary of her death. He and Harry collaborated on major documentaries, but William made it clear to a group of journalists at a press conference that it was a one-time event. He explained that this was a singular moment to pay tribute, discuss her life and death, and its impact on them. After that, the box was to be closed, never to be reopened. Harry and Meghan, however, have adopted a markedly different strategy. They have invoked Diana's name relentlessly. Harry has repeatedly claimed that he sees history repeating itself in the media's treatment of Meghan, thereby politicizing his mother's memory. He has also used it to frame his own battle with what he terms the establishment. He has painted an establishment stitch-up narrative in his quest to have his police protection reinstated, asserting that this mirrors Princess Diana's own story. And while people may be more understanding when Harry speaks of it, given that Diana was his mother and her death must have devastated him, a vast amount of skepticism surrounds Meghan. The suspicion is that Meghan is using Diana's memory, attempting to leverage Diana's fame and popularity for her own purposes. A kind of malign, secret intent is now inferred in Meghan's actions. While Meghan is constantly criticized on social media, the sheer volume of interaction on these posts, reaching into the millions, should serve as a stark warning sign that this has become a perilous subject for her. Yes, Angela, it is perilous, because the world now sees what she is doing. Because she has been engaged in this behavior for such a prolonged period, all of a sudden, the evidence has become undeniable. The evidence, Angela, is indeed indisputable. There are several factors at play. One is a part of her that severely lacks confidence. This is one of the reasons she talks incessantly about herself. The only way she seems to feel more confident is by emulating others, copying Katherine, copying Diana. She does anything to appear as if she is doing things the right way. It is said she does not comprehend the decorum of a royal family or the manners of someone well brought up. So, she adorns herself with things that bring her as close as possible, making her feel fashionable in the moment. At one level, it's simply ridiculous. She should be herself, but the problem is, she doesn't seem to know who that is. The other issue is far more sinister. She has allegedly done a most disgusting thing, telling Harry on several occasions that she feels his mother is speaking to her. And Harry, in his apparent naivete, has accepted this as truth. He believes his late mother is communicating through her. During their engagement interview at the BBC, he stated that he knew his mother and Meghan would be the best of friends and that Diana would be jumping up and down with happiness for them. All the while, Meghan was nodding her head, holding his hand, gently encouraging something that is deeply unhealthy, a pattern she has maintained for a very long time. She expressed a desire to visit the lake where Diana is buried. She allegedly went there, lay upon the ground, and later claimed, "Yes, I could feel your mother." Harry's vulnerability and his readiness to believe such things are viewed as ridiculous. But she has used this, it is said, to keep him bound to her, ensuring he will never leave the side of his wife, the one he believes channels his mother. Whatever force it is, it seems, knows precisely how to reach his mother, a situation too magnificent for mere words. And during the final period of his association with him, a total of 15 months, he would confide that he felt a profound sense of relief. He claimed to feel much better about his mother, believing he could finally cope. He credited William with helping him, resolving to move forward. And then, in a dramatic turn, Meghan allegedly thrust him right back into his turmoil, a place from which he cannot seem to escape. Now, whether her actions were an unintentional wound or a calculated strike, one has absolutely no way of knowing. But one cannot perpetually dwell on such a thing, for it prevents any forward movement. And it all began, one recalls, with the very perfume Diana adored, a scent little Harry loved because he cherished smelling his mother's face. And so, the saga began from that moment. It is difficult to believe this was mere chance. It seems to be part of a most terrible pattern of behavior towards someone she purports to love. Is greater than a truly astute point, Angela. And there was, in fact, more on this from Jack Royston, the royal editor of Newsweek. Observe. But first, has one ever truly examined the nutrition label on a common bag of crisps? One will typically discover a complete chemical cocktail, seed oils, MSG, artificial dyes, ambiguous natural flavors, and a list of ingredients that reads less like a snack and more like a science experiment. And then, we are left to wonder why we feel bloated, weary, and frankly, rather grim after consuming them. That is precisely why it was so intriguing to discover masa, a part of this burgeoning real food movement, resurrecting the kind of nourishment our grandparents enjoyed before snacks were conceived in laboratories. Now, masa's tortilla chips contain a mere 3 ingredients: organic nixtamalized corn, sea salt, and 100% grass-fed beef tallow. That is all. Thus, no seed oils, no mysterious chemicals, just authentic food. And here lies the crucial detail. They do not simply eschew all the rubbish, they actually taste utterly incredible. Snacking on masa chips is an experience entirely different from eating conventional chips. With masa, one feels satisfied, light, and invigorated. There is no crash, no bloat, no dreadful sluggishness afterward, for they are crafted from real food. They are more satisfying as well. So, one is not mindlessly consuming half a family-sized bag only to feel hungry moments later. And if one adores masa, one will also cherish their sister company, Vandy Crisps. It is well known how much I love crisps, but Vandy crafts the most delectable 3-ingredient potato chips. Genuine flavor, a proper crunch, all without the contemptible ingredient list. So, are you prepared to try masa or Vandy? One can use the code OUTSPOKEN for 25% off a first order at masachips.com or vandycrisps.com. Or, perhaps more conveniently, one can simply click the link in the video description box below or scan the QR code on the screen to claim this delicious offer. And for our viewers in the United States, masa and Vandy are now available nationwide at your local Sprouts supermarket. So, one should stop by and acquire a couple of bags before they vanish. But now, returning to the drama, there have been moments in the past when, it must be said, the way Meghan has acted concerning Diana has been profoundly uncomfortable. The part that was found to be most disquieting was a passage from Harry's book, Spare, where he describes taking Meghan to visit Diana's grave for the very first time. Diana's grave, you see, rests on an island at her family's estate in Northamptonshire, a location chosen precisely because they wished to avoid a grand public tomb that could be perpetually turned into a shrine and, one supposes, appropriated by the masses. And so, one must navigate out on a small rowing boat to reach Diana's final resting place, and so Harry recounted leaving her there, sensing she required a private moment. When he returned, she was crouched on the ground, her palms pressed firmly against the surface of the gravestone, and when Harry inquired what she was doing, she claimed she was seeking clarity and guidance. This struck many as being entirely too much for a woman she had never met. It felt, like a gesture that was a little over the top, to feel as though one were in some sort of communion. Because Diana is not just Harry's mother, she is William's mother too, and Charles's former wife, and if one were in William or Charles's position, one would genuinely find that spectacle extremely unsettling, one thinks. So, it is believed there are times when, they present as a bit too much in their relation to Diana, and that is a part of why this entire narrative is gathering such momentum. So that, one thinks, is a significant part of why it has become such a lightning rod and why it is garnering the level of attention it is on social media. But there is also, of course, the wider Harry and Meghan inauthenticity crisis. Oh yes, there certainly is. And believe me, that is a crisis now substantiated by evidence. Angela Levin observed these new figures, also unearthed by Newsweek, revealing that Gwyneth Paltrow's Goop now commands 4 times the internet traffic. As always, Angela, it appears no one desires what she is selling. No, it seems the public much prefers that to hers, because if you observe her methods, with her hair dangling perilously close to whatever she's concocting, a Sussex-style stew, as it's now called. Angela, some have dubbed it Salmonella Sussex because of a perceived lack of polish. She seems so unrefined and uncouth, is greater than yes. It seems she will not engage in things that are sensible. And all of her clothing choices as well. It is ridiculous. And this whole affair of trying to rival someone like that simply will not succeed. She just does not inspire people to like her. So many have confessed, I cannot bear her. I don't know why, but I simply cannot stand her. And that is the prevailing sentiment. Whereas, with countless others, they might say, well, I think they do this or that too much, but I do actually like them because they are fun and they are kind. She does not help her own cause. And during that visit, they were only present for 17 minutes, were they not? They just appeared, ensured no one saw the children, while feigning to support a charity, and then they vanished. It was a transparently phony act. One can see right through it. Come now, the need to pretend that you are so virtuous. So, no, she cannot comprehend the rest of the world. No, she very much cannot, Angela. And what is so deeply mortifying for her, however, is that Arkawell, her very own organization, has assembled this report. And it is a report, Angela, about what young people truly think, and it concerns authenticity in the influencer sphere where she now resides. And what is so utterly horrendous about it, Angela, is that this very report could be used to explain why people, particularly young people, it explains why they have turned on Prince Harry and Meghan Markle themselves. Newsweek's excellent analysis juxtaposes the official report's findings with the couple's own well-documented authenticity problem. The article notes that Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's charity has ironically released a report that highlights the critical importance of authenticity to young people. But the findings resonate with numerous major criticisms leveled at the couple throughout their post-royal lives. I mean, how they did not foresee this and simply bury this report, one does not know. Is greater than. So, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex's Archewell Foundation conducted interviews with 106 young people aged 10 to 25 across the US, the UK, Australia, Canada, and Panama to discover what they seek in leaders. And it discovered that young people have grown weary of the inauthenticity of influencer culture, preferring role models who are not driven by profit and who make an impact for causes they are passionate about. But the findings are truly striking. yet they make for difficult reading when placed alongside the facts of the first 5 years of Harry and Meghan's lives in the U.S., which saw them sign multi-million-dollar deals for content creation. In fact, certain passages of the report could serve as a convincing explanation for the couple's decline in public opinion during the years in which their audience appeared to tire of their narrative about the royal rift. Now, a Sussex source, Angela, has disputed this directly to Newsweek, stating, "To cast all young people as though they would take umbrage with the Duke and Duchess of Sussex for making money is just an oversimplified assessment of who they are as people. And what I believe that report is attempting to convey is that young people, in relation to the brands and the things they associate with or feel an affinity for, are largely driven by activism. It is why young people adore Ben and Jerry's. It is why young people cherish activism-driven brands. And if one were to view Harry and Meghan as an activist-driven brand, which one could argue they are, they focus on showing up, doing good, and handing over a disproportionate amount of their wealth compared to the average Joe to good causes. They must make money. And that is a moot point. We all do, unless you are a member of the institution. Now, Angela, I wish to seize upon that before we continue, because consider this for 1 second. Number one, they speak of ordinary folk who may have supported them as average Joes, and one finds that quite offensive to begin with, and it is believed it reveals their true attitude. Number two, handing over a disproportionate amount of their wealth. No, they are not, Angela. They are certainly not. Just today, a desperate, begging email arrived, boasting about some sort of 20% off sale for her questionable products. Not a single penny of that money, Angela, goes to charity. Not 1 penny. So, Harry donated $1.5 million from spare. Well, one is sorry, but his advance alone was reportedly something in the realm of $25 million. They do not contribute a disproportionate amount of their wealth. And how dare they characterize the public as average Joes and elevate themselves upon that kind of pedestal? One found this entire pushback to be quite revolting. Is greater than, yes, it is revolting, indeed. And it is the same pattern of just, they feel so superior that they believe they can do anything. And people who are of a lower station are viewed as poor things. But they intend to keep the money, while just pretending that they like them for half an hour, or no, surely not even 5 minutes, and then depart, and those people should think themselves jolly lucky to have seen them. It is all about that, you know? It is not genuinely about helping. I recall one of the first engagements they undertook was to give a great deal of money and clothing to children just before Christmas. And they were only there for 10 minutes. The people who were running the charity thought it was absolutely extraordinary, and they did not give much. They gave them an apple each, or something of that nature. They made a grand affair of it, their arrival with apples. It was all utter nonsense. And I believe they feel that if they just play-act the part, well, particularly Meghan. Harry does not. He merely stands there. Here we are. What? Allowing her to orchestrate it all? She is supposedly absolutely generous and kind and loving, but it appears she has calculated precisely how she can save as much money for herself while remaining in the pictures. That is what she enjoys. She likes to be in the photographs and all the rest of it. It was a game of appearances, a ruthless strategy to seize as much of the royal fortune as possible. The king himself, it was reported, became absolutely incandescent with fury over her exorbitant spending as she lavished thousands upon thousands of pounds on a wardrobe designed to dazzle, but never to serve. Her world, it seemed, was a kingdom of one where every coin flowed inward. This, they say, is why the public turned against her, why the entire edifice began to crumble. She was deaf to counsel, convinced of her own infallibility, a fatal flaw that would ultimately lead to her undoing. Then came a damning report from Newsweek, which laid bare the new generation's definition of leadership. 4 unshakable themes emerged: that true leadership is rooted in authenticity and credibility, that it transcends the shallow pursuit of money or followers, that it is defined by action and impact, and that it often begins far from the glare of the online world. The authors of the report delivered a chilling observation, noting that the very term influencer was now perceived as being innately driven by profit, and in that one devastating assessment, the entire Sussex venture in America was exposed for what many believed it to be, an enterprise where every move was intrinsically linked to the making of money. There was no authenticity to be found, critics claimed. The Duchess could invoke the A-word endlessly, but the youth, the very demographic they believed was their stronghold, were no longer convinced. The foundation of their support, according to their own research, had fractured. It was a sentiment that echoed what many had suspected for some time, that they were perceived as frauds in almost every respect. This insatiable obsession with money had become a terrible affliction, a preference for profit over people, a truth from which they could not seem to escape. The whispers grew louder that she was deeply unsatisfied with her prince, for he was not nearly wealthy enough. He was a mere millionaire, but her ambitions, it was said, required a billionaire, a prize she has yet to capture. It is a relentless quest, though any such target, it is speculated, might run a mile from her grasp. One only had to look at the saga of her engagement ring, a symbol of love reportedly altered some 4 or 5 times. It was never enough. A constant need to rework it, to make it appear more valuable, betrayed a deeper truth, that a gift from the heart was being treated as a mere commodity. Even if a token of affection cost a mere 6 pence, it should have been cherished as a symbol of his devotion. But for her, it was always about money, money, money. She craved a billionaire who could fund an endless appetite, where a dress for £5,000 or £10,000 meant nothing, so long as the spending never ceased. The final verdict was that her entire existence was built upon the altar of money, with all else left in the cold. A truly chilling assessment from Angela Levin, the royal mastermind who has captured the lives of both Prince Harry and Queen Camilla through her lens. For those who dare to seek more truths, the Royal Uncancelled After Show awaits.